Hi everybody, my name is Yvonne Johnston. I'm a consciousness coach and a leadership development expert. And it's around that topic that I want to talk to you today. I've decided to talk about humility, and I've very purposefully chosen Nelson Mandela looking over my shoulder as I do this, because for me in so many ways he was the epitome of humility. You know, I see leaders ascend into positions of power with big titles, and suddenly it's almost as if they take on a different persona, as if they feel that they have all the answers and should have all the answers, as if nobody else should be allowed to speak, as if they should sign off every project that goes on in their organizations, as if they should be making all of the decisions. And I really want to challenge that thinking, because the truth is, if you go to those exact same people and say to them, who inspires you as a leader? Inevitably, they give you the names of people who walk kindly and gently and quietly through life. People like Desmond Tutu, like Nelson Mandela himself, like Thuli Madonsela. Those are the people who inspire us. And the common thread there is humility. So what is humility? For me, it's a lack of arrogance. It's a lack of needing to take space. It's almost as if power is innate. You don't need to push it onto anyone. It's just kind of in your being. I read a beautiful quote which said, humility is not thinking less of yourself. It is thinking of yourself less. I love that. And I'm going to tell you a story of where I really saw Madiba step into that space of humility. And you know, all the times that I ever saw him, actually, he did this. But I was at a Nelson Mandela Children's Fund function. It was a fairly small function, fairly intimate. And a young boy had been flown up from the Eastern Cape, and he'd been born severely disabled. He had half arms and half legs, and he was this tiny little creature, big smile on his face. And Madiba scooped up this child with such gentleness and walked up onto the stage. And everybody in the room stood up and applauded, and standing ovation and ululating and whistling and applauding. And when the applause finally died down, Madiba looked down at this little boy and said, you see how much they love you? You see how loudly they applauded for you? And that moment was humility for me. And that's how I see it, actually. It's when you let others shine, when you allow other people to take credit. And in our own little lives, it can be letting someone in the traffic, it can be making space in a queue in Pick and Pay. It can be anything that just where you move yourself back a notch and allow somebody else to come forward. And you know, arrogant people do not create followers. You're not a leader if you have no followers. If you look over your shoulder and you haven't inspired anyone to follow you, you're not a leader. You're just wandering on your own through the wilderness. And that really is the test, is who's following you? Who do you inspire? So this week, I'm going to first tell you a little quote, which actually was often attributed to Madiba, but wasn't his at all. It was Marianne Williamson's. And she said, as you let your own light shine, what you do is you unconsciously give others the opportunity to shine as well. I don't think I've quoted that exactly right, but that's the gist. The gist is let other people shine. And you do that by letting your own light shine. You then give other people permission to step into that light. And that's such a generous and beautiful thing to do. So that's what I want to inspire you to do this week, is to think of yourself less and to step back just a little bit and let other people shine. Have a beautiful week.